Hey guys, Crewman here, and as you guys know, I'm a GPU miner first and foremost, and I don't plan on changing that anytime soon. As you guys also know, I'm not the biggest fan of ASICs, especially for home miners. They just don't make sense for most of us with residential power rate of 10 cents or greater. Even during the heart of the bear market, when the S19 cost almost nothing, they still weren't even profitable, and even now, when they are profitable, the halvening is coming so soon that it still doesn't seem like a good buy. It is also very easy to get wrecked on ASICs, in my humble opinion. But there was one ASIC that interested me, especially when I wanted to consider that my farm should be more diversified. And that was the Jasminer X16-Q. Like I said, I wanted to diversify, but I didn't want an ASIC that was going to be a huge power sink and that was going to take up an entire 30 amp 240 circuit in my garage or my shed or half of it. I wanted one that I could put into my garage as well, and the Jasminer X16-Q was perfect for that. Looking at its specs from the Jasminer website, you can see that it is basically an entire ETH farm in a pretty small box. It has it's basically 2 gigahash farm, which is the equivalent of 32 3070s if you guys are familiar with GPU mega hash during the ETH bull run. It has 8 gigabyte memory, which means that it works on basically every coin, and it's not going to go out of style on even the most popular coins like ETC anytime soon. Its power consumption is about 620 watts ish, give or take. They say 520 here, but it's actually about 620. It's got 3 chips on it, which is how you get the 2 gigahash. It is fan cooled, which is good, and the fans are pretty quiet. And two of the most important things actually, one of them is that it has Ethernet or Wi-Fi, which will really help you if you want to put this thing in your house. And it works on 120 and 240 volt. This is a perfect example of how you basically can shove the Jasminer anywhere. As you can see, it is in my garage because I didn't have any power in my shed. So this is good for people who, don't either have a full shed or they don't have a spot that they can put this in. And you guys can see it doesn't take up any space. I'm literally shoving it in the corner of my room. Now it's on a 240 volt circuit, but I could just as easily put it on a 140 as well. And surprisingly, it does a pretty good job of heating the room too. So an added bonus of this thing is you could potentially put this in a room and then have it heat the room up and then move it to another room as the seasons change and you need it to either heat up another room or you just don't want that heat to be used. It basically takes up no space, guys. It's fantastic. It's just shoved behind all my mining equipment, out of sight, out of mind, and it's great. Here's a quick overview of the interface. It's really not hard. You just remote into it with the IP address. You hit 3 buttons, type in an address you want to mine to, and it works perfectly. So one thing I didn't want to do is I didn't want to show you the daily profitability of the Jasminer as it changes a lot, and you can kind of just go on ASIC miner value and look at it for yourself if you want, but I would not recommend using those numbers. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain why I wanted the Jasminer, what my mining strategy was, and then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go over why I like it and and how much I've made over the last 2 months that I've owned this thing mining with it. So basically what my strategy is to mine with this beauty is that I like the idea of spec mining, brand new ETH hash coins, and then when they have their massive pumps, if they have their massive pumps, selling. So you're talking like the beginnings of a POW block coin, the beginnings of an Octus.space coin, Collexium, so along those lines. So you find a new ETH hash coin and then you mine it, and then when it pumps, you sell it. Now, that was what I wanted to do, and I still think that's a good strategy. But in practice, with the market going the way it is, I've just been mining established coins and enjoying the ride up. So let me show you how much I've mined in the last 2 months and what it's worth. Now, I do want to note that I am mining ZIL, but ZIL may not be mineable in the next probably 6 to 8 months-ish. So that might be something you want to take into consideration when debating if the Jasminer is for you or not. So first, let's start off with Octo.space. I mined the most of this. I got 335 Octo, or the equivalent of $525 USD. Then I mined a little bit of Connexium. I can't pronounce it. I apologize. I mined about 5.2 of it for $86.05. And then I mined 6,000 ZIL. This is great because it was basically free money. $228.24, which it comes out to about $825 USD for 2 months, for the first 2 months of owning my Jasminer. Now, I haven't sold any of that. That's just the fiat value of it right now. So you can do the math to figure out if you think it's worth buying. As far as prices go, I don't like to say anything about ASIC prices because I just don't know what they are right now, and they could change daily. You know, you could just see how much my Jasminer has made in the last 2 months, and you can determine for yourself if it was worth it. I personally think it was worth it. One other mining strategy you could also do is you could also just chuck this thing on ETC as ETC just keeps going up in value and see what happens. I mean, that's not a bad play either, and that's actually what a lot of like Jasminer recommends doing. Not that I would do what they recommend. I'm just saying it's another option you can do. I do know, so I don't like to recommend products that I wouldn't spend my own money on. And as you guys know, I bought this. I actually got it right after CES, and I did spend my own hard-earned money on it. And not only do I think this is a croup buy, but I plan on trying to get maybe at least one, maybe two more of these. I don't know if I could actually pull off two of them, but I plan on getting at least one of these in the near future, as I think having one or two of these is a great buy. Having two of them together actually would equal like a 4 gigahash ETH farm, which was basically what I had for the majority of the last bull run, which would be fantastic. But anyway, guys, I very, very much think that this is a great miner. It uses almost no power, and it's basically the most efficient ETH hash miner out there. And efficiency, I think, will be very important in this next coming bull run as well. So thank you guys for watching. This is this is a croup buy. This is a great diversification tool, and I can't recommend this more. And I think there's a very, very low chance of you getting wrecked on this miner. So thank you again for watching. Please like and subscribe. Croup Man